Greetings, Tezos Nation. Welcome to another edition of TezTalks Live. I'm Stu from the Tezos Commons. Joining me today is Efe Kucuk, Head of Gaming at Trilitech. Efe is joining us today to give us the latest on the upcoming launch of Etherlink-backed gaming experience Reaper Actual, talk about the state of Tezos Gaming in 2025, and explore the potential impact of Vibecoding for the future of blockchain, Web3, and Tezos development. Hi, Efe. Where are you right now, and how is the weather?
I'm in London, and the weather is as bad as always, but the day is going well so far.
That's unfortunate. Given that this is not your first appearance here on TezTalks Live, I'll dispense with our traditional intro into your personal background and instead focus on where your Tezos journey has brought you thus far. You first joined us on TezTalks Live shortly after you originally joined the Tezos ecosystem, but you've now been a fixture in the Tezos gaming space as a member of Trilitech for more than 2 years. Can you talk a bit about what your journey into this space has been like since we first chatted all those many moons ago?
Yeah, of course. I think it was a very interesting journey, and it was a very nice journey. I've been able to witness a lot of different changes in the ecosystem, lots of growth. I met a bunch of people which helped me learn a lot. But I think the best thing that ever happened was I just basically got more exposed to the community and the ecosystem, which actually teach me a lot. And it gave me a better sense of what I should be building, and here I am today, pretty much.
Okay. And for those who might not be overly familiar, how would you describe Trilitech and its role here in the Tezos ecosystem?
I think Trilitech is positioned like as a servant to the rest of the community members and startups in the ecosystem and companies in the ecosystem. Our duty is basically making sure others are successful, which will eventually contribute to general success of Tezos.
Okay. And as I mentioned off the top, you're now officially the head of gaming at Trilitech. So congratulations.
Thank you.
What can you tell us about exactly what a head of gaming at Trilitech does and what your day to day looks like in that role?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think again, head of gaming's biggest responsibility is making sure um, there is an alignment in the general ecosystem across various different projects, and especially providing guidance to funding ecosystem entities like Teos Foundation or other VCs, just giving them insights on how to operate and the projects to focus on. So we are able to suggest lots of different ideas and guidance over there. And then the rest is just again making sure every game builder and every game is getting the highest chance of success, whether that's through bringing them tooling or bringing them support wherever they need, whether it's marketing or development support, and just coaching them to success. That's kind of the general, I would say, description of the role. But in real life, it's obviously not about that. So in real life, we have a quite small team, but a very efficient team compared to the last 2 years, especially. And what we do right now is we are extremely hands-on with many different projects. You can call it even like code development on most of the games. At the same time, we just this year we started to build our own internal projects as well, which has been going great so far.
Okay. And as someone who has been laser focused on Web3 and Tezos gaming for multiple years now, what are your impressions of the current state of blockchain gaming in 2025?
I would say it's still not at a level that I would want it to be completely honest. But there is also a general slowdown in the gaming industry too, in general, if you think about it. So for Web2 gaming or like general games industry, what we are seeing is more money is flowing through smaller creators and smaller titles like indie games, while the user spend on larger titles are decreasing. So does the interest through larger titles, while mobile games are still growing, but in a slower rate, I would say. The biggest effects of this is obviously the expected GTA 6 release. it basically destroys every other game's timelines if you think about it. Because last year, lots of the gaming projects, even like some very big ones that I personally know of, they pushed back their launch date because they were expecting the game to launch in 2025. I mean GTA 6, and now it's next year. So like when you know that GTA is going to be released, you can't really plan for anything. Like you know that your players will go to zero because everything will be about that. So that's one thing. But in general, Web3 gaming, we've seen lots of gaming studios shut down, which is something that I'm not surprised of. I think it's good for the ecosystem. So I would say lots of like balloon sort of empty projects have died off as they should, and I think the builders that are left now is they are very focused on actually monetizing the game without squeezing their players, which is something I'm happy with. So in the end, I think the technology in terms of the infrastructure is there. There are great tooling. I don't think game developers have an excuse anymore regarding frictionless experiences because we have that in both layer one and layer two. So the rest is just building great games and trying to reach success, which I think we will see more and more.
Okay. And what about here in the Tezos ecosystem more specifically? What's the state of Tezos gaming right now as you see it?
Yeah, of course. So I think there were in the last 2 years there were many failed attempts like by different game studios. Everyone tried to find a different way to scale. Different types of games were out there, and I noticed two things, especially like again in the last two years. The biggest thing is the builders that were completely inside the ecosystem, what I call like intrinsically motivated builders. These are the guys that actually love Tezos. They're engaged with the community. They know what the community exactly wants. So they're not there for getting some grant from Tezos Foundation or and jump chain when they move out of money, and that's the whole monetization model, right? So those guys, for example, Tezos Dijan Club is a good example of it. They drew 10 times more TVL and activity compared to the older games, which is I think an important metric. Like Tezos TGN Club had maybe I think users around like averaging around 200 to 400 a month, which is not a large number. But those guys were driving some crazy and serious volume compared to the amount of users you have, right? At the same time, we had projects where they had like tens of thousands of users with little to no activation. What I mean by activation is those users going doing something else on Tezos or like following, like engaging with the Tezos social medias or community and stuff like that. So I think that's an important learning. And about the current state, I think we are in a growth stage. Like we have a really high momentum right now compared to back in the days. Because as you said, there is this big title coming up. It's everyone is talking about it outside of Tezos 2 right now, which is something I'm very happy with. At the same time, we are pushing smaller sized games that are helping other projects. I know we briefly talked about this, like the Uranium Miner game, for example, which pushed lots of activity to Uranium IO. So we are going to see more of those, like more like gamified social engagement projects. So in the end, I would say we are on a great trajectory right now. Like we are covering different fronts. We have smaller games that are targeting the DeFi people. We have a big game coming up targeting PC people. We have mobile games targeting more casual players.
Okay. And as you mentioned, we've recently seen some buzz building around John Smedley's first foray into the Web3 gaming space, Reaper Actual, which is a multiplayer first person shooter game that's integrated Etherlink as part of its offering.
Yeah.
Obviously, as you also mentioned, it's by no means the first Tezos backed Web3 game that's come across our
Yeah.
radar. So, can you tell us a bit about why this particular game is so significant?
So I would say there were a few ambitious projects on Tezos in the past, especially like in the AAA gaming space, which didn't have, yeah, which were there were very different stories. I would say, especially compared to Reaper Actual. But what makes Reaper Actual really exciting is, first of all, the team behind it is extremely experienced. Like those guys have built MMOs their whole lives. And the second thing is, this is not just a random idea or just a random CGI trailer. Like even in the trailer, we have gameplay footage, right? So what I'm saying is the game is already playable, actually. So it's going to be open for public soon, sort of like a public beta as well. which is also a great thing. The third, they are backed by many different investors, which are successful in the gaming industry, like Bitcraft, which is another conviction because lots of companies made a big bet on this project, which is also like I think it's a good sign always if you are getting funding from good sources because they also open their network to you and so forth. And the fourth, I really like how they position blockchain, man. If I compare it to like other games, especially, what they do is very smart. So what they plan to do is release two separate versions of the game, one on Steam, because as you know, Steam doesn't allow any Web3 games at all, and it results in a direct ban. So what they're going to do is they're going to have a game version on Steam and one on their own launcher and Epic, which will have the Web3 features, but Steam won't have any. And this is very simple. They use the blockchain for the user-generated content, which is one of the best use cases in my opinion, and player-to-player trading, right? Like secondary market trading. And the important thing here is they're not forcing any of their users, which is a great thing. So they are like, there's the Web3 version of the game is clearly more beneficial, especially if the user is into like trading their items or they want to create their own content, like they want to mod their game or create their own server and stuff like that, which is completely doable within the game. Then they would need to use the Web3 version. So that's why I think they have a better chance of success because they're not forcing anything. And I think it's a good positioning given how much Web2 gamers hate blockchain.
Yeah. Okay. And I understand you've brought along a demo video of Reaper Actual. Can we have a look at that?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Beautiful day in Morova. Come on, let's move.
Incoming transmission. Welcome back, Reaper. The Elysium research facility has been infiltrated by the OBS Syndicate faction. Signals intelligence suggests that the
Hit it.
mission accepted. Initiate base raid.
Moving in. On your 6. Breaching. Move.
Another beautiful day in Morova.
Welcome to Morova, Reaper.
Enemy spotted. Moving. Follow me. Need backup.
Reaper Actual, coming soon.
Reaper,
Mate, I've seen it maybe 30, 40 times, and I'm still getting goosebumps every time.
It looks pretty spectacular.
Oh yeah! Oh my god!
Initially, it just looked like a trailer, but later on, the gameplay was inserted in there as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Honestly, it's great. Yeah.
what does the timeline look like for Reaper Actual's release?
So I think in the next, let's say, I don't know how much I should be sharing because it's their game in the end, but let's say within this year there will be a public access, a closed access for the initial horde of players that they want to onboard, and then next year will be full launch, early next year.
Okay. And as I mentioned, Reaper Actual was demoed at TesDev
Yeah,
2025 in Cannes just a few weeks ago. What was the response like from the Tezos community?
like everyone was going crazy because I don't think that's something we've seen before, honestly. We've set up 4 PCs, like gaming PCs, in the event venue, and people were able to play.
Oh, they were playing it.
Yeah. We basically set up PCs so people could try it. The game is playable already, and lots of people enjoyed it. We had very good comments, and yeah, you had to see the reaction when we showed the trailer on the screen, and everyone was very surprised, I would say.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So you said that you can't necessarily share specifics on release dates and stuff. So what's the best place for those who are interested in finding out more to keep track of Reaper Actual's progress?
I think 2 or 3 platforms. The first one would be their Twitter. So they have Reaper Actual W3 is a Twitter handle where they entirely focus on Web3 stuff, actually, where they communicate lots of updates as well. And actually, the CEO John communicates that as well, and he streamed the game last week randomly to lots of people. And then other than that, there is the YouTube channel of theirs. I showed you the one on IGN, which is the biggest YouTube channel for gaming, but they have their own YouTube channel as well, where they share lots of information about the game. And finally, there's a Discord channel.
Okay. And Reaper Actual is the first Etherlink powered gaming offering to generate this kind of buzz, as far as I'm aware anyway.
Yeah.
Is this something we should expect to see more of as Etherlink matures?
Absolutely. Like this whole aim, we're just trying to find projects to kickstart something great and build that momentum up. I think if you're able to reach success, which hopefully we will if we do our jobs right, then there will be a user base that other developers can come and build on. That's what we want to reach.
Okay. Can you talk a bit about what kind of impact you expect Etherlink to have on the Tezos gaming space as we move forward?
I would say, like, because of how ambitious this project is, like Reaper Actual, if it's successful, it will be an absolute game changer. Because I think their approach is quite interesting. It's very different than what was done before. And if they're successful, this will be the game that people will refer as, okay, this was the game that started it all, sort of. So I think that's the best outcome out of this. But in any case, what I expect to see is increasing the amount of people engaging with dApps on Etherlink. So I was not like planning to talk about it, as you know, a lot because there was a bit backlash of the uranium miner game. But I think stuff like that really proves this point where if you think about the beginning of this year, we had around 2,000-3,000 users engaging with different dApps, and that's obviously not enough at all. And we obviously want to grow this number. After we launched Uranium Miner, which is again 90% Vibecoded app, then that number spiked up to over 200K. And then basically you start to gain a share of voice. Like if you go on YouTube today and research about the project, you start to gain a lot of attention from different ecosystems and different types of people as well. Obviously, uranium miner players were like more farmers or like really like DeFi trenches, what I would refer as. But all of these stuff, they help you build a foundation of like a core user base. I think when you get to a point where you have around 50 to 100K users, like very solid users, they love everything about the ecosystem. They interact with different dApps. That's where we want to get at, and I think that will cause a great and healthy growth in the Etherlink ecosystem. Because I think games might not be for everyone. Not every Web3 feature or blockchain integration might be a good fit for every game.
Mhm.
What I'm 100% sure of is games are the best onboarding tools that we have right now. Games and gamification. So that's what I'm trying to focus on.
Okay. And as far as like I agree to a large extent. As far as bringing new users to the ecosystem through the gaming experience, which we both agree is an important gateway, what does the emergence of Etherlink represent for the development and release of games connected to Tezos?
Yeah. So I think Etherlink enables a few things. First of all, because it's EVM, when you are targeting users that are active on other EVM chains, it's much easier to bring them over here along with their funds, because that's also what we need, right? We need more activity, both in terms of funds moving around, because Etherlink itself needs to grow as an economy as well, so people can build on it, and like also like in terms of users. So that's number one. It serves as like a gateway, I would say, to Tezos. Number two is the tooling that is available. I think we need to accept this, because there are tons of tools available for EVM based chains. Tons of them, like Third Web, Sequence. I don't know. I can name 100 maybe. So that's also something that makes a game developer's life a lot easier. Obviously, we also have similar level tooling in layer one, but I don't think any other chain can match that at the moment. So I think these two are the biggest things, and obviously the usage of Solidity compared to like Michelson, it's easier to find Solidity developers. So basically, in the end, this Etherlink acts as a gateway that ultimately feeds Tezos, and Tezos acts as a protector of Etherlink, where everything is being validated, and it's the big house that Etherlink lives in, and that house is like super solid. It's been there for years. It doesn't even have a scratch on it, which is amazing. And Etherlink is that lovely shiny door that allows people to walk in. That's how I see it. Honestly.
I like it. It's a great metaphor.
Yeah, yeah.
This is all great stuff so far. I'm excited to learn more. But before we dive into the nitty gritty, are you ready once again for the world famous TezTalks lightning round?
I'm more than ready. Born ready.
Fabulous. Then it's lightning round time. Remember, there are no wrong answers. This is just for fun so our viewers can get to know you a little bit better. Are you ready?
I am. Let's go.
Are you a night owl or an early riser?
Night owl.
Exercise or naps?
Exercise.
Pizza or sushi?
Pizza. 100%.
What's your favorite country to visit for a vacation?
Turkey. My own country. Yeah.
Makes sense. If you were elected king of the world, what's the first thing you would do?
Force people to use Tezos.
Name one thing you will never do again.
Oh, that's so hard. Drinking too much and two days in a row. It's happened lately, so. But I will probably forget about it in a year. But
What's the secret to happiness?
just it comes from yourself. Just knowing yourself and accepting that it's impossible to be happy all the time. You need to be sad sometimes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you have any pets?
No, not at the moment.
Okay. And finally, what is your favorite thing to do on a rainy day?
Gaming. That was an easy one. Yeah.
Thank you. Those were excellent answers. This concludes the TezTalks lightning round. Let's get back into it. Now that we've talked about the state of Tezos Gaming and the upcoming launch of Reaper Actual, I'd like to change direction completely and get your thoughts on the emerging field of Vibecoding, if that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that I've been all over about in the last.
I know that's why I wanted to bring it up.
last 6-7 months. I think people around me are tired of me saying the same thing every single day. I'm like, guys, you really need to try this. This is amazing. This is the future. Blah blah blah. But in fact, it's the reality. So basically, what I want, as a short introduction to this, I think this is the most groundbreaking technology that was ever founded, probably in the last 50 years. with all honesty, I'm talking about the general surgeons and how well the AI models have gotten in general. So, and AI models today have gotten to a level where you can just talk to them in English, and it can start building projects for you. It can execute tasks for you. It's gotten to an amazing level where myself, I'm not a technical person at all. I'm geek. Maybe I'm semi-technical or something like that. And I was able to build out a game myself for the first time. Before that, I was always in the ideation side where I would work with developers to get what I want. But for the first time, I was able to build something, and then it was also successful. So it's amazing. It's a life changer. The world is changing in general.
Okay. So, having said all of that, what exactly is vibe coding and why does it matter?
Of course. So vibe coding is basically speaking in plain English with an AI model, with an AI bot, for the AI bot to code for you and actually build out a project. That's what we call vibe coding. There are lots of vibe coders out there who try and build stuff using purely LLMs, using purely chatbots. And why does it matter is, if you have an idea today, especially if it's a small size one, or even if it's a big one, you can complete 80% of it yourself today. Or if you want to sketch out a prototype, instead of creating a Google Doc and writing a ton of stuff or wireframing it yourself or drawing it on a whiteboard, it's probably much faster today to just wipe code it and create a working prototype. Right now, it's at a state where obviously it cannot replace a developer. It will not, I think, in the shorter term, and or for maybe a very long time as well. You will still always need a developer at some point as you grow, especially when you try to go to full production and you want to set up your backend and it needs to be optimized. Obviously, if you want to scale and stuff like that, it's that moment where you need an actual developer. But vibe coding stuff can get you to that level where you can have a prototype to fundraise, I don't know, or start marketing it already, or start using it yourself already, like building a mini tool for you and stuff like that. For small projects, 100%, it's the best thing out there, and you don't need anyone to do it.
Interesting. Can you show us what the user interface looks like?
Yeah, obviously. So I will have, how many minutes do we have left?
15-ish.
Okay, I will be very quick then. I want to show two things to the people out here. I prepared something for today. First of all, I want to talk about the most popular tools, and I will just be very quick. I just want to talk about what you can use today and how you can get started. So right now, these are the most popular tools that are out there that people are talking about, especially Bolt, Lovable, V0, and Cursor are probably the biggest ones. Well, Replit also reached 100 millions, I think, in recurring revenue. So, but anyway, so if I had to rank these vibe coding tools, let's say, basically the ones on the right, they give you more and more and more control of what you are building, but at the same time they are getting more and more technical. So what I would suggest people is actually start with these, like Lovable, Bolt, V0, and then as you learn how to build a project and you get more technical and you get a better understanding, I would say start switching to something more advanced like Cursor or Windsurf. So this is like also a ranking that I made. I think it's very important to understand that if you are even slightly technical, if you're a nerd like myself, you should start with these and you will move very fast and it will be much better. But if you're a complete newbie, you have no idea about coding or those technicalities about like building a software and how a software works really, then I would suggest starting with these three. I made another list here, but maybe because we have limited amount of time, I can just share this as a PDF and we can just attach it to the video. What do you think, Stu?
I would really like to have a look at the user interface and see what this process actually looks like.
Of course. By the way, I was sharing my screen. Did you share it or? I was just showing a chart. Maybe we can display that quickly if you want to. How do I present my screen?
I believe the same thing you did with the video.
I think it's already on because I can see it here. Let me remove source. I was actually just talking about what I was showing on the screen.
It sounded like you were, but we couldn't see it.
Oh no. How about now?
There we go.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I will quickly run through it again because I
Okay.
think it's important to see it in a chart model. Um, sorry, let me find it. Okay, I'm just going to show you this chart basically. Again, if you are into tech but you are not technical, I will highly suggest you to use Bolt, Lovable, or V0. If you're a nerd like myself, I will suggest you to use these three. So I have quite a big of a list about how you can get started, which is the best tool for you, and how you should be progressing, and what do you need to do to get to that next level. But I think it will be best to just share it again as a PDF maybe. That's what I'm feeling. So I can just show you the interface and we can do something right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, then as the tool of today, I actually want to try Lovable because I haven't used it for a very long time. I was also wanting to actually test out a few new stuff. So I was like, yeah, okay, why not? Let's try this. So the first thing about building something is that we need an idea, right? So Stu, let's ideate. Can you actually wait? Can you see my screen now? No, I changed again. Oh, okay. Again. Now? Can you
There
see
we go.
now? Perfect. All right, so let's find an idea. I need your help with this too. So I'm just gonna. I have an AI on the tab right here, so I'm just gonna ideate with that actually. Give me a very simple idea that will help me engage with the Tezos community. And
How about a list that ranks the best TezTalks episodes?
and people would vote on it
Um,
or no? It's just a list.
sure.
Okay, I want a website, a portal focused on TezTalks, a podcast show on Tezos. Research it. I want it to have a list of best episodes of it and act like a community hub. I want it to be a place where people can learn more about it and engage with each other. Give me a simple PRD so I can get to build it. Very, very short, simple, clear idea. So the AI is thinking. I don't know if you're able to see the AI that I'm using right now, by the way.
Um, all I can see is the landing page.
Okay, I'm using an AI at the same time, guys. So I'm not. It has already given me a prompt, so I will just use it.
Okay.
The prompt is, you can see it, right? The
Yep.
TezTalks community portal to create a website for TezTalks, a Tezos ecosystem. And I just also want to add about the design. I want the design to be super sleek, like an extremely cool tech brand, modern tech startup style, sleek with blue tones. And I'm just going to send it over. As I've shared this, what the AI will do right now is it will basically have a think about how can it approach building this, and it will actually start building an initial prototype, and you will see how fast it will happen and how fast it will start to generate. Obviously, it will just be a prototype, like a front end with placeholder information,
Yeah.
but it will give you an idea of where we can get using this.
And the designs that it would generate would be completely unique.
I wouldn't say it would be unique because they are like also not every website is completely unique right now. Like most of the website they use pre-existing templates. Like especially if
true.
you are like if you check NLTech websites, most of them use ShadCN, like a very common UI pack. So I wouldn't say it will be 100% unique, but it will be editable anyway. So you can again keep talking to the AI to improve and get it to a stage where you actually like it. So after the first actually version, let's do that. I want to get some feedback from you about the website, and then I'm going to show you how it's going to change and how it's going to implement what you want.
Is it going to generate something that I can look at, or is it just going to generate code that I could use to build the website with?
You will be able to see it. You'll be able to see it right away. It will generate the code for you, and it will also run the code on the website. So
Okay, well, while it's working on that,
Mhm.
can you like obviously you're quite excited by this. Can you tell me what you think this means for the future of Web3 and blockchain development?
I think bigger than that, I don't really know what this means for the future of humanity. I think like I'm more concerned about the humanity than anything else right now, if I'm completely honest with you, because my belief is that I think in 5 years or less, English will be biggest coding, one of the biggest coding languages out there. That's like my biggest bet, and I'm a big believer in it. And this will either have a great effect in world or a horrible effect. Like I can't even imagine what's going to happen, because at the rate that AI is getting better and better today, every month these tools get increasingly better. I don't know what will happen, like in the time zone, and especially like employment crisis and stuff like that. But about Web3 development again, AI is already getting quite good in Solidity, for example. It is getting quite good in security audits, which is the biggest concerns right now. But it obviously makes everything much, much easier. For example, on Etherlink, if you work uh, on any product, if you are using, like, let's say, Third Web for wallet connections and stuff like that, the AI can already communicate with the docs of Third Web using an
Wow.
MCP server. So it's like this instant. Like, again, Uranium Miner game was built on AI, man. Like, imagine that. So all of the on-chain interactions and everything. So yeah, it's just making things a lot easier. You don't need huge teams anymore. You don't need huge budgets anymore. The world is changing, and especially if you want to build a quick proof of concept, this is the best way to do it.
And as far as integrating it with Etherlink or the Tezos ecosystem in general, um, how simple is that process to
Exactly.
actually?
Extremely simple. You basically link the docs. That's it. Let's say I want to build something on Etherlink. I'm just gonna link the Etherlink docs or copy paste it, and AI will already know about it. It's amazing, right? Like, it's insane, basically. So you can assume these tools are integrated with anything in the world. They can speak any language. They have an idea about almost every topic in the world. So yeah.
Okay, and just something you mentioned a moment ago, I wanted to follow up on. Like you mentioned about English becoming the biggest coding language in the
Yeah.
world. What does this mean for the coding languages traditionally used for the larger blockchain ecosystem and in Tezos more specifically?
I think, like, by the way, this shouldn't be taken as an offense to developers. I still don't think the AI will be able to replace developers in any scenario at the time being. But what I think is basically the coding languages will stay, of course, and there will be always great, amazing developers who will keep their jobs, obviously. But because of how good LLMs are getting in coding, what I'm thinking is there will be more people who are just interacting with an LLM to generate the code. So we will see people building out stuff who don't even know how to code. Example A, I think, right? And this will increase because the tools are getting better and better and better every day.
Okay. And how far away are we from seeing vibe coding driven tools and platforms and games launched here in the Tezos
Yeah,
ecosystem?
there are a ton of them. Like, I don't know how, on Tezos ecosystem too, actually. There was this event that we used during TestDev and also Consensus. Have you seen that? Like a Etherlink Quest app.
I've heard of it.
It was vibe coded entirely. I started it off. Like, literally, I built the first prototype, and another developer also vibe coded because we had to move fast. It was built like in a few days. Yeah. So
Okay.
like there are already some products, they will increase. Or maybe you have seen the Tezos Wrapped. Have you seen that?
No.
Or maybe Tezos Blue Eyes. Do you remember that image changer where it puts like blue
Yeah,
laser
yeah.
eyes? I built that too using vibe coding entirely in
Interesting.
2 days. So we will see more and more stuff like this.
Okay, so you've already dove in pretty deeply into this, but as other people become more familiar with vibe coding, do you expect to see a explosion in the number and types of applications that we see launched?
Yeah, I hope so. Like, I think that's the biggest aim of this talks, right? I think, like, I'm seeing people engaging with a lot of different projects and with each other on X. But unfortunately, I didn't see a lot of vibe coders out there. I feel like most of the people, they still have a bit of they are still not really convicted that this is an actual thing. That's what I feel like. I don't think they are not giving it a proper shot. That's what I feel like. I
Okay.
think if they would, then when they realize that they will be able to build something like actually good, then everything will change.
And it looks like what it's doing right now is building
Yeah,
the
we can.
lines of code individually.
By the way, damn Lovable is slow compared to others. Maybe it's doing things too properly. Okay, it's live. It should be live now. But what it did is basically it created components for the website itself, like the whole design, piece by piece. And we have our initial version.
Wow.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Dive deep into Tezos ecosystem with expert inside. Look, it already knows about Tezos. Look at this. Tezos, the decentralized blockchain environment that evolves by upgrading itself. Stuff like that. Learn about Tezos. Let's click on that. Okay, there's nothing. Listen to latest episode. Join community. Best episodes. The future of DeFi on Tezos. I wish we had these episodes. Do we have it? No, probably not. And then there is this community hub. It shows about, okay, Telegram, GitHub, Twitter, Discord. Quite cool. Educational resources. Very nice. Tezos documentation, developer tools, Tezos fundamentals, join live events. Oh, very cool. Add to calendar. That would be actually, you know what? We could actually build this website out. Maybe
We're
this
already
is
halfway there.
Yeah, we are almost there, literally. Okay, these buttons are working. Quite
That's
cool.
very interesting.
Like again, just as an example, do we still have time or?
We've got a couple, like 2 minutes.
Okay, let's try one more, like little iteration.
Do you think it's going to have enough time?
If it's a small thing, it usually has. But anyway, let's skip it for this one. But basically, whatever you say, it will. You can keep changing it, keep adding content, and so forth.
So what it's generated right now, all of these buttons and widgets and everything on there are functional?
Yes, it's not everything is functional because obviously we need to add content. These are all placeholders. But for example, the buttons on this top tab, they are already functional. If I click learn, I go to learn. If I click events, I go to events, and so forth. And
that's very cool.
Yeah, that's extremely cool. And the most important thing is, I'm just, because I never use this. Okay, these are all actual code, right? This is not like a drag and drop, like Wix style website builder. This is actual code. Like it's already there. So if you know coding, imagine if you're a developer, it just saves your life, like saves a lot of time for you, which is insane, right? So yeah, this is the future, man. And I just want people to actually go out and use it seriously.
Very cool. So for those who are interested in learning more about Vibecoding and how to use it, where's the best place for them to get information?
I would say similar to crypto Twitter, there is a Vibecoding Twitter, like an AI Twitter. So if you engage with those accounts, you will be able to see a lot of content. But nonetheless, there are great YouTubers. I would recommend Mark Lou, Marclou. I think his videos are great, especially he's trying to sell his own stuff, like many other content creators. But
aren't we all?
Yeah, but I think his contents are a good place to start off. But there's lots of videos on YouTube. But nonetheless, the best way of starting off or learning anything, man, is just trying to do it.
That's what I was going to say. Probably the best gateway is to just start experimenting with it, right?
Yeah, just do it.
What's next for Efe Kucuk? Do you have any other exciting rollouts or announcements in the works?
Yes, we will have very interesting announcements coming up. I don't want to talk a lot about them right now. I don't want to jinx it, but they will be huge as well, just like the Reaper X show. Yeah,
on.
It's going to be an exciting time.
Okay. We could go on all day, but unfortunately we're at the end here. To all our viewers, thanks for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with us, our social media contacts can be found at tezoscommons.org/TezTalks. We'd love to hear from you. Efe, thanks so much for joining us today. It's always awesome to speak to the folks helping bring Tezos-powered Web3 gaming to the masses. Is there anything else you wanted to mention before we sign off here?
I really hope that I will see more people building stuff, because building have never been easier. You can get to building today. So please do so and just take me on X and let's have a look at it together.
Awesome. To everyone out there in Tezos land, thanks for joining us on TezTalks Live. I'm Stu from the Tezos Commons, and our awesome guest has been Efe Kucuk, head of gaming at Trilitech. Now let's go check out Reaper Actual.